absolute immunity.
Yep.
So they can kill somebody like they just did and get away with it.
Yeah. And you know they turn is coming.
Yeah.
You know the turn is coming. God uses everybody. Like he used Pharaoh. He used Trump.
Yep. That's the modern day Pharaoh.
Yep.
Alright, we get started. Alright, facing the east, giving all praises, honor, and glory to you too. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, and Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well, teach well, and sincerely taught us this truth. Shalawam to the Lord, so for elect. Alright, back again in the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, and Kakadash. The true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah equals He is, He exists. That's the Father's true name. Yahawashi equals He saves, He delivers. That's the Son's true name. And Rakakadash equals the Spirit. That's holy. Rakah equals the Spirit. Kadash equals the holy, set apart. Right? Those are the names that we come in the Hebrew, the Lashawan Kadash, the Paleo Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew, the correct names, all right, which Yahawah is giving back to us. Let's go to Zephaniah 3 and 9 real quick. Any questions, anything you got, bro, just ask.
Okay.
This is Zephaniah 3 and 9 and verse 8. Let's start at 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith Yahawah, until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So Yahawah right now is gathering all the nations. He's putting spirits in these nations to make them angry towards one another. He's making them make alliances, economic pacts, right? Joining together BRICS nations, NATO, EU, etc., etc. All right, everybody's coming together for a common goal. And ultimately that goal is going to be to destroy America and then to fight one another in WW3, right? So this is, when you see stuff going on, it's not just by coincidence, it's by the Most High willing it. It's His will for this place to fight, right? To ultimately destroy the wicked kingdom, to destroy the wickedness, and to bring in Yahawashi and to bring in the rulership of the righteous. Verse 9, for then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahawah to serve Him with one consent. So now we have that pure language, that true name, all right, the true Hebrew that we're speaking once again. We're talking in, you know, in briefly moments and stuff like that. Like, you know, we use the English majority because we come in stammering lips and a different tongue. I colonize this tongue. But we call upon our power in the Hebrew because it's more powerful, you know, and it's edifying to give you that. And that's the one name that you must know to make it into the kingdom, man. All right, let's go to Acts 4 and 12. And it reads, neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Now in this time frame, Paul, Peter, Mark, Matthew, John, all the apostles, right? All the men that was around Yahawashi was calling him Yahawashi. The letter J was not created, all right? They wasn't using the letter J. They wasn't calling him Yeshua. There was no U in the Hebrew. It's no E, no O, no U, no V, no J, or no F in the Lashawan Kadash. So therefore, if you go back and you go to ancient language, all right, what they were speaking at the time, they were speaking in Hebrew, all right? So that's important to know. So that one name under heaven, whereby men will receive salvation, is the name of Yahawashi. Okay? That's it. Matter of fact, let's go to Acts. Let's go around Acts 20. 22. And it reads, men, and this is Paul, men, brethren, and fathers, hear ye my defense, which I make now unto you. And when they heard that he spake in the Hebrew tongue to them, they kept the more silence, and he saith. So Paul is defending himself in front of the Pharisees, and he's speaking in the Hebrew tongue. So what must they speak in? They speak in the Hebrew. All right? It was a serious matter. Now, a lot of our people, yeah, they spoke in the Greek, being Hellenized, growing up under the Roman captivity, growing up in Roman provinces, etc., right? Even at this point in time, Israel was a province of Rome. So you would be, you know, they would have been controlled and ruled by Romans. You would have had Roman centurions all around the place, all right, maintaining order and peace and all of that, right? So a lot of people would have spoke the main language. They would have spoke Greek, because before that you had the Greek Empire, and then some people would have also spoke the Latin. This is why Yahawashi, when he went to be put up on the cross, what did they put up in there? King of the Jews, they put it in Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. That's for you individuals saying that he spoke Aramaic. Why didn't they put it in Aramaic? All right? Or Arabic, or whatever you say that he spoke. Why didn't they write it in that? They wrote it in the Hebrew, the Greek, and the Latin. All right? Because that was the main languages at that point in time. So we are getting back to our native language, which is the Hebrew. We are not Greeks. You know, even though some of our people spoke that, that's not the proper language. We are not Latin. Some of our people spoke that, but that's not the proper language. These are what you know as unpure languages. So as I read in Zephaniah 3 and 9, we go back to a pure language, right? That's extremely important. So anybody calling on Jesus, Yeshua, Yahweh, Yehuda, Yahusha, all of that, you are going off, you will not be accepted. The Most High does not hear those names. He's not recognizing those names, man. All right? Now going to the main topic of the day is the hatred of the whore. And the hatred of the whore is the whore being who? Babylon, America, which we're going to break down. This is the whore. All right? She is of the beast. She is in the beast. She is that Roman Empire reincarnated, brought back to life. Okay? And she's ruling once again. Rome 2.0, if you want to call it that. Right? Because that's what it is. Okay? Now, as you see, if brothers was watching the Davos event with DJ T, who we know to be Nero through the spirit, talking all proud, being prideful, and all of that, and it's just saying such things. A lot of stuff he said, you know, it's just BS. He literally was up there for an hour and 15 minutes insulting other countries, thinking it would have no effect, when some of them other countries jabbed back at him. I watched the speech of the German president. He shot back, you know, and other presidents shot back and said that we're now in a new world order that does not have America at the head or at the top. All right, and that's what a lot of countries are in unison with. They have to topple America and bring her down. They have to stand together to go against America because she's being what? She's being a bully. Okay? So I want to go to Revelation, the 17th chapter. As a matter of fact, before I go there, I'm going to go to Hebrews.
Question, brother.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Somebody was telling me America is modern day Babylon, a mystery Babylon.
Mystery Babylon, yeah, yep. Yes, sir. So it's all of that. It's the daughter of Babylon, as it's known of, you know, throughout the scriptures. And it's also that mystery Babylon, but it's not a mystery anymore because we recognize it.
Is that why Moses tells us that come out of her?
Yeah, when he says that, come out of her, my people, so you don't receive of her plagues, that's basically talking about the chariots. Him coming to pick us up, to take us up out of here, because that final plague is going to be the missiles, the ICBM missiles, 200 million missiles coming to destroy this place.
Okay.
So yeah, but I mean, spiritually, yeah, we should be out of here, like, not participating in her her holidays, her food, all of that, you know, the pork, the lobster, crab, all the stuff that she's advertising. Yeah, you should be set apart from that, being Kadash, being holy, set away from that. So even before the chariots come, you gotta what? Purify yourself in that sense.
Okay.
But yeah, she's known. She's definitely known. Matter of fact, I get another scripture after I get this Hebrews to support that. Let's see. This is Hebrews 13 and 14. For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. So we're not caught up in watching America become great again, which she was never great. All right, we're not situated on watching her build herself up, where this is a place we can live and rest and manifest our dreams and greatest desires. No, that's not what it is. All right, we know now that this is that whore spoken of. This is Mystery Babylon. Okay, this is the wickedest, the most wickedest place on this planet. You know, and nothing but wickedness spews out from her, comes out for her. She's birthing wickedness, right? So we understand, and she's what? She's naked. I'll go to Isaiah 47 and 1 through 3 to support. And it reads, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Now, it's calling her a daughter right there. She's the daughter of these nations before us, these wicked nations and places that we was at before, you know? So Babylon, ancient Babylon, which is modern day Iraq, that place is not what? It's not heavy important. It's not, everybody's not doing commerce with that place. Iraq is not a place that's allowing every type of religion and, you know, festivities to come into it. You know what I'm saying? So Iraq is not Mystery Babylon. She's ancient Babylon, right? So this place is the daughter, and it's by her characteristics.
And somebody was telling me that Abraham lived in the bottom corner of Iraq. They told me it was the city of Ur. Yeah, Ur. Yeah. So that's where Abraham was from?
Yeah, that's in the Middle East, so-called Middle East. That's where Abraham and his forefathers was from. You know, but he took it upon himself when Yahawah started dealing with him to leave that place and stop worshiping the false gods that his father Terah worshipped. You know, and he traveled, came into Egypt and all of that. And Yahawah promised Abraham the land of Israel, all of that land, right? And he said also he would make his seed as the stars in the sky, which is billions upon billions, you know, or as the sand of the sea, which is once again billions, trillions, etc. And that is being fulfilled via us coming into rulership, you know, and once again producing and making all our kids, you know, having numerous of kids you can't even number, right? And even today, our people are as the sand of the sea. It's billions of Israelites on this earth right now, right? Even though they calling themselves this and that and this and that, that's Deuteronomy 28:37. They call themselves bywords, different things, right? But their spirit is that of an Israelite, right? So that prophecy of us being as the sand of the sea, Hosea 1 and 10 also speaks about that. You know, it's what Yahawah promised Abraham is gonna happen. So we got the land of Israel coming out of Egypt. We were brought into that land, we got it, and then we eventually did wickedness. I fell off under after King Solomon because he worshipped idols. So then boom, we started falling off worshiping idols. And then he took us out of that land. And what? Babylon came and conquered the southern kingdom. Assyria conquered the northern kingdom. And we went into captivity. Now, the northern kingdom, which is your Latinos and your Native Americans, they took it upon themselves to travel to America. And they settled in America. This is how you got your North American Indians, which are Cherokee, Creek, Blackfoot, all of them, you know what I'm saying?
Choctaw.
And Choctaw, Seminole Indians as well. They were settled. That would be Gad and Reuben. That would be their real tribes. All right, Gad and Reuben, they would settle over here and in Canada and all of that. And then you would have the Latinos the Cubans, the Puerto Ricans settled in their respective lands. You know, going all the way down to Argentina, Chile. All right, so South America, Central America, you know, Cuba, Puerto Rico, all of that, they settled over here. Now the Southern Kingdom would still be in Israel, and Babylon, ancient Babylon, would come and put them in captivity. All right, and then after that, they would what? After 70 so years, they would be brought back into the land. You know, via Nehemiah, Ezra, all right, and they would what? Rebuild the temple and all of that. But they would what? They would once again go into captivity, because under that, when they went into when they came back to the land, they was under Persian captivity, because the Persians took over the Babylonians, the Medo-Persian Empire, and then the king allowed them to go back. He wrote a decree. He allowed them to go back. We lived, we dwelt, and then the Greeks came, and the Greeks was conquering everything. And Alexander the Greek was actually kind of cool with the Israelites, but it was just after his kingdom split is where the rulers that his 4 generals that ruled after that point in time, they came and they got rigorous and hard, and they made it where we had to go against our religion, where we had to sacrifice pigs upon the altar and stuff of that nature. And they built up gyms, you know, like you got the gyms, the in shape and all that. Well, back in the day, those gyms is where individuals would go and they would work out naked. All right, that's where that word gym comes from. That it's wicked.
Almost like modern day Olympics.
Yeah, all of that is a wicked practice. You know, now working out, that's good. You know, you can work out, it profits the body, right? But so the way that they do it is nah. We're more spiritual than carnal. You know, so it got Jake in that working out mindset where they was trusting in the flesh more than anything.
So after the Greek Empire was
the Roman Empire, yeah. But the Greek Empire is extremely major. That's why they took it out of the Bible. That's in the Apocrypha, and the Maccabees, first Maccabees, second Maccabees, etc., etc. Because
they left out the Bible.
Yeah, because if you knew about the Greek Empire, you would know when our people were Hellenized and they became Gentiles. They took on the practices of other nations, of heathen nations. They began to speak the Greek.
Yeah, and I don't know if I read something or heard something, and they said with every empire that was ruling at that time, they called the Most High Elohim.
Nah.
That's not correct.
Nah. See, Elohim, that's Yiddish. That's false Hebrew. You know, they would know.
Like Jewish?
Yeah, like, and we're not Jewish. Like,
that's right, we're Jews.
Yeah. So
we're not Ish.
that Ishmesh, that Yiddish, that was created around the 1800s by a man named Eleazar ben Yehuda. So he began to add the E, the O, the U, and the V to the language. So he would give you that Elohim, he would give you the Yahweh, the Yeshua, the Yehuda. He would give you all these different type of practices. You know, these false languages to throw our people off. You know.
Wow.
So after the Greek Empire, our people would be, you know, they was already scattered. And they was growing up thinking they was Greeks, thinking they was Romans, thinking they was Ephesians, Corinthians, Romans, etc., etc. You know, so they grew up doing the customs of these people, just how we grew up in America doing the customs of Americans, of this nation, right? Christianity, right? Christmas, Valentine's Day, all of that stuff. That's not in the Bible, you know. And then you would have the Maccabean period where our people would fight back. They would fight against our own people that were doing these things, first and foremost. And then they would fight against the Greeks that would come and try to, you know, put them back into captivity. Wow. And Yahawah raised them up to fight.
Everything comes like a puzzle, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's where you get the term Hanukkah from. All right, that whole feast of dedication is all in the book of First Maccabees, right?
Yeah.
So after that, they would fight for a while, and then they would eventually have to go to the Romans to get help in that sense. And this is how you would get the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Essenes, all of these different sects, all right? So we would go under the Roman control, and the Roman Empire would spread, and the Romans would eventually take over the Greeks, right? And it's all the Romans and the Greeks are both same nation, Edomites. The YT people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they love to do. They love to fight one another. I recently looked up. I was looking into the Roman history, and they would fight an enemy with an ally, and then they would turn on their ally and tell their ally they need to disband their army or they gonna fight them. And their ally wouldn't do nothing. They'd be like, we ain't do nothing. And then the Romans would fight their ally and take them over. So they love war. In the 250 years that America has been a nation, it's only been about 20 so years of peace. She loves war, right? These Edomites love war. That's their blessing. According to Genesis 27:39 going downward, they're blessed with the sword, right? So they're blessed to fight and to kill. Their only blessing is really death, bringing death, right? So under that Roman Empire, Yahawashi would eventually come under the Roman Empire, you know, and he would get us to the point of where he would redeem us, right? So, but that, as a matter of fact, that's actually good that I went through that history. Let me check the comment board real quick. What? I don't know what he talking about. Anyway, but going back to Isaiah 47:1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Now America is what? She used to be like, people used to love it here. Like, oh, she's a golden land. Like they thought Hollywood was full of gold and all of that, right? But no, that stigmatization, that look, that perspective is gone. Everybody can see America for what she is. She's no longer called tender and delicate. Verse 2, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks. Make haste, make bare the land, uncover the dock, pass over the rivers. A woman is supposed to have her hair covered. America is uncovering her locks, her glory, her ways. She's showing everything, uncovering the land. A woman is supposed to wear like a dress, you know, covering up. America's showing everything now. We're seeing everything, right? Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So thy nakedness is being seen. You're going to see America for everything that she is, right? All the wickedness, all the sex trafficking, the scamming, just everything that she does, the chemtrails all throughout the sky. You can see them right now. You know, the pesticides, the Roundup, hormone changing ingredients, GMOs, all this stuff is being exposed. Knowledge shall be increased. And as knowledge is increased, we're learning more about the beast. We're learning more about this horde.
And down there we're learning about it, and a lot of information is coming out. Now, is that part of a seal? I remember, I think it's in John the Revelator, when he said,
those seals, the 7 seals?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about plagues, all different types of plagues that's going to come on earth. So yeah, as it goes, yeah, you know, but just knowledge being increased, that's coming from 1969 when the truth came out. Because understanding the majority of the Southern Kingdom, when we going back to the history, the Roman Empire, then we will fall around 70 AD, 66 to 70 so AD. It will be a war, a rebellion, where the Israelites will rebel. Now Yahawashi told us, when you should see the Roman soldiers come passing around, flee into the mountains. Those mountains is talking about Africa. So we would have to go and leave Israel and go to Africa, which in Revelation it calls it the wilderness. So the ones that listened to Yahawashi, that believed in him, they would leave and they would go to Africa, or they would disperse and go different places. Like you got Israelites that was in Scotland, Ireland, all over the place, right? But majority came to Africa, right? And this is where you would get a term is known as Negro land, all right, where we would live and dwell at for a time period. Now, going back into, you know, what you were saying, like, shoot, I done lost my train of thought real quick. What'd you say again?
According to his part, the last But you were talking about how we were dispersed. You said we had
oh yeah, the water. I got you. Yeah. All right, so 1619. So, 1492 is when the Spanish, the Portuguese, all those four nations, really five, Dutch, Portuguese, Spanish, the British, and the French, would begin to colonize North America, South America. Now the Northern Kingdom would get it first, because the Northern Kingdom, as we said, they came over here, and that's according to 2nd Esdras 13 and 40. So they already came over here, they traveled over here, right? So the Edomites, because those are all Edomite nations, the Spanish, the Dutch, the French, the Portuguese, the British, all right? Those are Edomites, just under different names. They're coming over here to conquer the Northern Kingdom. How you see it now with ICE going after who? They're going after the Northern Kingdom. They're migrants, right? But they're all of Hispanic descent or Native American, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a saying, Northern Kingdom get it first, Southern Kingdom get it worse, right? So Northern Kingdom got it, they got colonized, et cetera. All right, and then the Southern Kingdom would eventually get took over, and that's why I was stating 1619 was the bulk of the Southern Kingdom, Africans, which you would call, they called us Africans, African Americans, whatever, but it would be three tribes, so-called Negroes, so-called Haitians, so-called Jamaicans, Trinidadians, etc. Right? This would be the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay. Now, the bulk of all of them would come around 1619. All right? Yeah, coming around all that time, but the bulk would come at 1619. So, in Revelations, the 11th chapter, it speaks about, as a matter of fact, let me get it real quick. It speaks about us being basically dead for 3.5 years. This is Revelations 11, and I'll start at verse 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And that's talking about the saints. Now that beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit, that's what? That's Rome, or also America, because she was sent to the bottomless pit for 1,000 years, right? Understanding that, because the Roman Empire fell around 476 CE or AD. And then, as I just stated, 1492, right, she began to come back. Really, around the 1400s, they began to come back. You have what is known as the Renaissance period, where the Edomites would come back. It's really Renaissance is rebirth. So it's the rebirth of an empire, of a nation, of a kingdom. So they began to come back into power, right? So, keeping that going, that's the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt, where also Yahawah was crucified, our Lord was crucified. So, this is that great city. It's a land of what? Sodom. You got elk, all that everywhere, So, and that's promoted, that's pushed. Pride Month, all of that, right? And this is also known as spiritually Egypt. Not physically, but spiritually Egypt, because of the customs, the practices. You got a pyramid on your dollar. You have, like you said earlier, Trump is the pharaoh. He is, So you have Egyptian artifacts all over this place, right? Customs and ways, etc., etc. So this is spiritually Egypt, and Egypt also is bondage, slavery. So it's also slavery in that sense. So this is spiritually Sodom, spiritually Egypt, but as we understand also, it's the daughter of Babylon. It's spiritually ancient Babylon. It's spiritually Assyria, Persia, Greece, Rome, all of these old captivities that we went into. It's all of that toppled into one. It's a mix. It's babal. It's confusion.
A question. I've heard you watch documentaries about the Moors.
Moors? Yeah. So the Moors is Israelites. Like, majority of them are Israelites. But they was under what? Islam. you know, they just went off. They was doing different things. Even though they did, during the Dark Ages, we ruled. That's why it's the Dark Ages. We ruled as Moors. We ruled under the Byzantine Empire. We ruled as Vikings. Under all these different type of names, we didn't know we was Israelites anymore in that sense. You know, so we started worshiping false gods. That's why Moors did Islam. Byzantine Empire, Constantine would bring you Christianity. Okay, he would mix in heathen customs with the truth, faith. That's when you get Christmas, Easter, all this type of stuff. So yeah, the Moors are definitely Israelites. You can tell by their fruits, by their works, how they established themselves. They built up knowledge, universities, all of that. They traveled the seas, you know, did all that type of stuff. So, yeah, Moors definitely Israelites. But understanding, dang, he almost got hit. Understanding they went off due to what they was worshiping. Now going back to Revelations 11 and 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So Yahawashi was crucified here in the spiritual sense via what? The TV, the books, the Bible, the name Jesus. It's torment. They're tormenting him. They're torturing him. All right, that's not his true name. All right, the image that they give you is not his true image. You know what I'm saying? Everything they say about him is not real. It's false. So he's being crucified in this place. Verse 9, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Now those 3 days and a half is what I was talking about with the 1619 to 1969. That's 350 years. So for 350 years, we were in the grave, like we were not in the grave, but we were just walking dead. Zombies, not knowing who we were. So at 1969, you have an elder known as Elder Albert Bivens who came and brought this truth in the sense, coming from a school called the Commandment Keepers, all right, that only taught the Old Testament. He came and he you know, paralleled it with the New Testament and all that and brought this truth. And this truth began to spread out, all right, of us being Hebrew Israelites, Yahawashi, and all of that. You know, so this truth came around 1969. So that's 350 years of us being in darkness, of us being zombies. You know, and this truth has been on this earth for 56 years. The apostles' doctrine is back on this earth. The same thing that Yahawashi himself taught, the same thing that the apostles taught. You know, getting a little bit more of this. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Now those two prophets is nothing more than the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. How you have brothers standing up all over this world, man. All right, every continent except Antarctica. All right, standing up and prophesying and preaching this gospel, the true gospel, calling upon the names of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah. That's your bus?
Yeah, this one here.
All right, Kai.
You know, you got to stop, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, you got to stop, man.
Hey, be safe out there, man.
Yeah, and I will. Until next time.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
All right, brother.
Shalawam.
All right.
Now, so keeping it going. Verse 10 again. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. Now, sending gifts, they did what? They traded slaves. They had auctions. They sent us from here to there. All right, you had Native Americans and Latinos that were actually put on ships and sent to other places. You had multiple slave trades. You didn't just have the transatlantic. No, you had multiple slave trades that was going on at that point in time. So Israelites was getting shipped everywhere. Oh, look at the movie Pocahontas, man. You know, they was getting sent everywhere. Okay? In that sense. Verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from power entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. Right? And that's what's happening right now. The Edomites, really the higher ups, man, like a basic Edomite, day-to-day job, Bob the builder. We ain't worried about Bob the builder. Okay? But you Rothschilds, you Rockefellers, you Kissingers, all you upper echelon, if you want to call yourself that, elite, so-called, because you're really not elite. The elite is really the elect, the remnant of Israel. All right? That's the elite of everything. Get that through your mind. Now, you Rothschilds, you banking families, you are fearing now because you see the brothers standing up, not having nothing to their name, man. We don't got nothing too much. All right? All right, we working in your companies. You know what I'm saying? We paying your mortgage. We paying your rent. We paying your insurance. We paying your damn property taxes. All right? All this stuff that you got putting on our heads, and we still fighting back against your wicked ass, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's supposed to be, spiritually. Because these strongholds have to fall spiritually. So for you jakes out there, you picking up guns and all that. No, you can't even break the strongholds. The scripture says, bind a strong man first. Then you come into his house. You bind him strong. How can you take a strong man's house if you don't bind him? All right? So this house is divided. So Yahawashi is binding him spiritually, and then he's going to come in and take over this kingdom, right? Which is rightfully his. Understanding that. So these people are terrified. Verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And that's talking about what? Us going into those chariots. Yahawah, we be of that number. To go into those chariots, true salvation, to be redeemed, to be saved from fear, to be saved from the oppression of our enemies, to rule over those that oppressed us. Right? So let's go back there. Let's get back to the main lesson. Revelations, the 17th chapter. And let me check the comment board. Hey, Shalawam to the sister Yakanana. Shalawam, sister Yahawashi, Yasharahla. All right. We're going to start at Revelation 17 and verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, that sitteth upon many waters. Now that great whore is what you know as America, Babylon. All right? That's extremely important to understand that. The whore that sitteth upon many waters. Do your research, learn and find out that America sits upon many waters, many nations. All right? She has bases, 850 bases, all over this planet. She sits everywhere, man. All right? Every single continent, Antarctica included, Australia, Europe, Asia, North America, South America, every single continent. Okay? Africa, she sits everywhere. She is the whore that sitteth upon many waters. Therefore, when you place a base there and you place U.S. soldiers there, what happens? That influence grows. Those agents, those soldiers, they seek out, and those agents, because don't forget, you got the CIA everywhere as well. All right, I just watched I was watching the James Bond series, you know, and that's actually a pretty good series. With Daniel Craig, I believe him to be a Jake, you know, but I gotta look into it. But in that movie, they shows you the MOTB. They showed you in 3 movies. They showed you the MOTB. All right, they showed you how they can track they can track you everywhere. Okay, satellite technology, all of that type of stuff. And they showed you also how they have the CIA and agents working all over the planet, disguising themselves, spies. Okay, so this is something that you need to take heed to, that, hey, you know, America is that. She's the whore that sits upon many waters in some form or fashion. She has herself embedded into a nation, man. So if she needs to take down that nation, it ain't that hard. You know, she got agents there just for that exact reason. With the whole Venezuelan attack, you had CIA agents there patrolling the whole area. You had agents that were embedded into Maduro's regime. He thought they was just regular individuals, but no, they were working for the U.S. government. All right? Keeping it going. Verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. The ways, the philosophies, the doctrines that America spews out, pushes out. Everybody is made drunk from this. What the scriptures say? They are drunk, but not from wine. Matter of fact, let me get that. If a brother want to put it on the comment board, you can. You know, the water. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Let me go get it. I think it's in Isaiah though. Drunken. Right here. It is in Isaiah. Alright. This is Isaiah 29:9. Stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For Yahawah hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, has he have covered. So the philosophies and the ways of America has drunken our people. What happens when you get drunk? Right? You're tipsy. You're not able to function at your 100% capacity. Okay? You staggering all over the place. You know, it gets to a point where you black out. It gets to a point where you become a zombie. You become possessed. That's why alcohol is called spirits. These different type of spirits are coming over. Right? In the same sense of these philosophies are bringing upon you different type of spirits. That's why I'm telling, yo, our people don't understand this shit is serious, man. It's not shit, but it's very serious. By you calling on a name of Jesus, by you calling on Yahweh, Yeshua, you are inviting a demon inside of you, a different spirit. You are covering with a spirit that's not of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. That's not the Lord's spirit that you are communing with. If you don't get nothing from the lesson, get that. All right? That you inviting different spirits in you. You wonder why you can't understand nothing. Why the prophecies ain't being revealed to you. Why you can't get it. Because you're not calling upon the right names. You're not living the right way. How is the Most High going to deal with you? You keep breaking his laws. Willfully. You don't care. He said don't eat pork. You like, fuck that. He said don't commit adultery. You said, nah, fuck that. And you think he gonna deal with you? What man would deal with you? What man would deal with you if you don't follow what he said to do? Jake, man, 2/3 of Jakes. Just some disobedient ass kids. Let's keep it going. So they are drunk with the wine, the philosophy, the ways of Babylon. Verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now those 7 heads being what? Germania Major, Germania Minor, British, all right, French, Spain, Rome, and the Greeks. Okay, these are those 7 heads which sit upon that beast, and those 10 horns being the NATO or the EU. Now today they added multiple different countries to it, but we know the original 10, that's what we're talking about, and then everybody else that joined together with them. All right? So the North Atlantic Treaty, okay, or the European Union. All right, so that's the 10 horns. And those 7 heads, once again, is those empires, because all those nations I named, they had empires. They sat upon this beast. You know, they sat out and conquered, right? As we talked about earlier, the Spanish, the British, and the French coming out here and conquering the Americas, right? That's heavily documented. I mean, history proves everything we're saying in the scriptures also, right? Let me see, I saw some comments pop up. Hey, Shalawam to the brother Yahawashi, Yasharahla. Okay, keeping it going. This is verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Now, purple is signified, you know, it's symbolized as a royal color, right? This is why IUI can't get rights. They be wearing purple because they think they royal. They think they in the kingdom already, all right? So it's symbolized as a royal color, right? So America believes that she's in a royal position, you know, and this is her kingdom. Okay, we can give her that. It's a shitty ass kingdom, but it is her kingdom, okay? I wouldn't want this kingdom in a million years, man. You know what I'm saying? So, she is the place full of filthiness and abominations. Everything that the Most High hates. He loathes, he despises her, right? But we know that the wicked was created for an appointed time. Proverbs 16:4. She's set up for a position. She has the rule for an appointed time and to be brought down. So, it has a purpose. To refine us, to chastise us, to do all of this stuff to us. Therefore, we will be better kings and priests, you know, going into our rulership. We saw how our big brother messed it up. We know how to do it properly and correctly. All right? Keeping it going. Verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. All right, so Mystery Babylon, as we spoke before, is America. We already understand that. We broke it down earlier. It's no longer a mystery. This place will be destroyed. All right, so Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots, the mother of whores, right? You look at 80%, and I'm lowballing it. 80% of women in America, all right, are whores, man. You know, in some form of fashion. You know, you got your OnlyFans, you got your TikTok, you got your Instagram, you got your Snapchat, right? You got your Facebook. It can be used for good reasons, but most of it is used for vanity purposes. It's used to sell your body and advertise your body. You got simps on there. I be seeing this so many times, man, on the Facebook, old friends and shit. You see them on the profile picture with their wife. They bowing down to their wife, kissing her or some shit. She got the dress on. What the fuck is this? Ain't she supposed to be your treasure, bro? All right, keep her, but you advertising her out to the world. It's that queen type of characteristics. You know? You're like, look, she's mine. Yeah, nigga, yeah, okay. Keep her ass in the back. That's what you're supposed to do. But the mindset of Babylon is to push out, is whoredom, is queen, to have to desire that attention. Look what I got, look what I got. What the fuck? Yeah. Hey, if you want to keep it, you keep it locked away. That's the best way of going about things. The one that be shining and talking the most, he be the one that get robbed. All right, are you foolish? But most are foolish in America. You don't know how to move with discretion. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it going. Verse 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Those saints are Israelites. America is known for killing Israelites all throughout her way. She slaughtered the Native Americans, but y'all forgot the Trail of Tears. She literally gave them blankets with sicknesses on the blankets, but y'all forgot about that. All right, slaughtered the Mexicans to the point where the Mexicans, they left It used to be a lot of Mexicans, Issachar in America, but you had a war. You had certain wars that went on. So Issachar left. Do a little research on, you watch Sinners. You see in Sinners, Israelites represented. You got speckled birds, you got Southern Kingdom, and you got the Native American tribes, but you have no, Latino tribes. Because at that point in time, the 30s, in that time frame, they had left because of the Great Depression and all that, right? Hispanics were never treated good in this country back then, in that sense. All right, just because you work, look at how they coming down on you now. But you was ha because you was cool with the white man. All right, yeah, boss treat me well. Yeah, he treat you well. Why it's convenient. But then when he want to kick you to the curb, he kick your ass. All right, and he leave you laying down on the ground. He don't care about you. All we are to the white man is a number. You get that through your mind. That's all you are. All right? So let's keep it going. With the blood of the saints. Verse 6 again. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahawashi. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And that's how our people look. They see this woman, they wonder, right? Because to a foolish individual, America is great. You give that American dream and all of that, but it's wickedness. It's wine. Wine is good to a certain point. You drink a little bit, but don't drink too much because you begin to get drunk and you lose your functions and you become a zombie. You black out, you be possessed. Most of our people are possessed by the spirit of Babylon. They can realize it. Right? Verse 7. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell upon the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world when they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is. Now that beast is what we talked about earlier with the brother, the Roman Empire. All right? So the Roman Empire was and is not and yet is. It's back. It suffered a deadly wound. Okay? Now it's back to rule once again. Let's go to Revelation 13. Revelation 13, around verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Now, understanding the way that the Roman Empire operated, you had the plebeians and the patricians. That's the same thing as the Democratic and the Republican, right? And you had Congress. You had a House of Representatives. You had the same type of Senate, the Roman Senate. Same type of stuff, and at the top of that, you had a president, which you would know as your Caesar, all right, your emperor, whatever you want to call it. All right, blam, zam, baboo. Okay? Then keep it going. 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. Okay? Now, let's go back to 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth and had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Now, we broke that down as the Congress, as the deciding factor, those people. But key thing is also, he got those horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. What is America doing? America is implementing draconian laws, draconian rules, where it's extremely harsh crimes, man, this dude, Alex Preddy, this man got unalived, and hey, I believe it was staged. It is what it is, but regardless, staged or not, it's doing its job. Staged or not, it's rising the tension and the atmosphere of America for these Egyptians to fight against Egyptians, right? So regardless, all right, and that also should be a warning to you Jakes to stay out the fucking streets, man. That's not your fight. This is not your fight. This is not your war. All right, let them fight it out. You know, and I saw a video the other day. This Jake was talking about, hey, YT man, welcome to niggerdom. You know, you get to feel it how we felt it, how we feel it. And whatever, it's all jokes and all that to them, but for real, all right, he's coming down on you, he's coming down on everybody, and his people, he don't care if his people get it too. That's how he is. He never cared about his people. Evidence being the chemtrails in the sky right now. All right? So he never cared. So he spake as a dragon. He's cruel. That cruel Lord. He's wicked. You giving your cops ICE. You giving them diplomatic immunity where they can unalive somebody with no repercussions. Right? So I wouldn't hesitate. That's what they doing. Because cops, ICE, DHS, Border Patrol, etc., they operate out of fear when they get in those motions. They don't know how to operate and talk to somebody decently. Hey, yeah, we conducting something now. Can you back up a little bit? They don't know how to do that. They don't operate that type of way. They operate and they rule by fear and by power. Verse 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. All the activities of the Roman Empire are done in America. Everything from sex trafficking to Coliseum fighting, gladiator fighting, boxing, all right, football, basketball, you know, all those type of practices are done. Chariot racing, gladiator, F1, you know, all of that type of stuff is done in America. So that first beast is worshipped again. Military might, military strength. Rome was a major military power. America doubled that, you know? Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Atomic bomb, hydrogen bomb, nuclear bomb, right? DEW, direct energy weapons. Okay, well, he can take a satellite right now, shoot it, burn the ground. Look at Chile. He's doing it to Chile again. Chile is burning up because of what? Because if you dive deeper into it, the study that showed ourselves approved, you have resources in Chile that are needed to make what? To make chips, to make nukes, all right? So wherever those resources, the uranium is, they're gonna go there. They show you in Avengers, what are they going for? The vibranium, the vibranium, the vibranium. Well, in the real life is uranium and these other type of resources, these minerals that you need to make ICBM missiles and also to make chips. So that's why they are burning these countries and going in, harvesting the resources, right? After a major disaster, nobody wants to live there anymore, right? That's what's going on. Let's read 12 again though, because I missed the point. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. The Roman Empire has been healed. Once again, this is Rome 2.0. It was done away with. It was in that bottomless pit, as we read, for 1,000 years. But it's back upon the earth, doing the same thing that it did back in the day. All right? Verse 14. Let's read 13 again. And he doeth great wonders, so that maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Now in your wacky-tacky Christian church, they would tell you the beast is a man. The beast is not a man. All right, it's a coalition of nations, of countries. But the nation, the main nation, which we know is 18 nations, all right, would be the nation of Edom. Okay, that is that main nation. So it's the Edomite nations, the Edomite countries that are ruling, which forms the beast, which forms those 7 heads, those 10 horns. These are all Edomites that are in the hierarchy of these countries, right? So those miracles also, going into those miracles, AI is one of those miracles. Being able to the brain chip, okay, Neuralink, the C-hip, all this type of stuff. Being able to control your stuff without even having to touch it, right? All this high level sorcery that is being done upon this earth. That's all it is. Esau is pushing high level sorcery upon people, and he's trying to give other people this high level sorcery. Okay? So it's given a sense of convenience. He's gradually brought you into that sense of convenience. This is convenient. You know, why wouldn't I want to have a chip in my right hand where I could control my phone from over here? Hey, phone, in the live. Built like it's convenient. That's what every American is looking at it as. You watch that Davos meeting with Elon, and what did he say? It says it's ultimate convenience. Okay? Everybody's gonna have a robot, and you're not gonna have to do anything. Well, so you can sit back and get fat, like y'all did on the movie Wall-E. Or y'all so fat, you sitting back, your bone density has shrunk. Well, y'all ass can't even walk anymore. Cause you a sluggard, man. You lazy, you slothful. Alright? So that's their mindset. They want to sit back. They want to take all the jobs away from people. Where if you do that, then hey, don't forget the Georgia Guidestones. They don't want a high level of population. Everything the Most High said do, they do the opposite. So be fruitful and multiply? No, be unfruitful and divide. That's their mindset. Divide, destroy, subtract. Okay, the opposite of multiply is divide. So they are being unfruitful and they are dividing. That's what this devil is doing. So he wants to decrease population. It's called population control. That's why you had the jabby jab. That's why you can't produce anymore. To you individuals that took it. And you know your whole house is gone. Your sons will never produce. That's what that's what all this technology is doing to you, man. It's taking away your ability to produce. It's destroying you. He's destroying houses by violence. That don't necessarily mean by pew-pewing you. He can destroy you psychologically, mentally, spiritually, right? Entering into your body, they know microbes, all this type of stuff, diseases, okay? Pestilence, famine, all these are plagues. The Most High is using these plagues to get rid of the least desirable. The ones that don't want to get right. You want to continuously be disobedient. You don't want to work, meaning work for him. Yeah, you work for the white man. The white man ain't going to give you your salvation though. I mean, what we talking about here? Is the white man going to come and save you and put you in a chariot, my nigga? Because that's what y'all acting like. It's some niggas. Hosea 4:6, man. You don't care about the knowledge. It's no lack of knowledge. The knowledge is everywhere. The correct knowledge. I mean, sure, you see great Millstone brothers dropping videos every single day. So where's the lack of knowledge? Ain't no lack of knowledge. It's the rejection. That's the part that a lot of you jakes are hitting on. You reject the knowledge, therefore you reject Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. You reject your power, you reject your inheritance. Let's keep it going. All right, verse 14. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Wrong once again. It's back. All right, we explained that. It's back once again. After those 1,000 years, 476 AD, bottomless pit, Europe, Caucasus Mountains, all right, being done away with, and As I told the brother earlier, we ruled Dark Ages, Byzantine Empire, Moors, Vikings. All right, we ruled France, Spain, England, Ireland, Scotland, etc., etc. That's why, yo, when we go into that history and you still come out your mouth and say King James was a white man, when we ruled Ireland, Scotland, and England, he ruled those lands at the same time. Therefore, that would make his father a black man because he was indeed of the Southern Kingdom. Okay, if you go back into them being the stewards, it only takes a quick research. But once again, you listen to everything the YT man say. Oh, the YT man say he white, so he must be white. The YT man say he black and he homosexual, so he must be black and homosexual. What a YT man told you that, motherfucker, this earth is millions of years old, but it's not. The YT man told you, hey, that could take years. I could do a lot. What the white man told you. Hey, thou shalt not lie. All right, thou shalt not lie. Your science is pseudo-science. It's fake. It's not real. It has no merit. It has no value. You don't honor the truth. You don't care. You don't respect anything that's real. You are artificial. Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that's going back to him speaking as a dragon, man. Those draconian laws, those draconian rules, which he is going to come down with. Now let's go back to Revelation 17. This is another reason why the whore is hated. All right, Trump, DJT, Nero is backing off of Greenland. Yeah, but what did he do otherwise? They're loud for nothing. They ain't going nowhere, just loud for nothing. All right, what did he do on the flip side? He said he gonna put tariffs. He said like Denzel, I'm putting tariffs on all you bitches. He putting tariffs on everybody. That's what he said. He putting tariffs on these countries that's not working with him. His own people. So what did the EU do? What did Europe do? On the flip side, they came and said, all right, with this $93 billion trade deal that we got, we're gonna cancel that for 6 months. Okay, let's see if that can change your mind. Let's see if that can jog your memory that you actually belong to NATO. You actually belong to NATO. We're supposed to be a partnership. Why are you fighting against us? All right, now Denmark rules Greenland, and he wants to take Greenland, the U.S., because of military might. Resources, yeah, here and there, but it's more so a strategic military opportunity where he'll be able to counter and attack Russia at a heightened level. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole option behind it. That's the reasoning behind that, right? So Denmark ain't with that. It's like you align with your brother. You know, y'all got a pact. Y'all had a pact for, when was NATO founded? 1949, I believe. You know, I could be wrong. Fact check me on that. But going back to when NATO was founded, I believe it's 1949. That's either the ECC or that's NATO. That's one of them. All right? But going back to that, you had a pact for that long. And now, you just walk up to your brother and punch him in the face. But y'all been cool for over 70 years. 80, damn near 80. Like, y'all been cool for that long. But now you just punch your brother in the face. And he like, yo, what? And in the pact it states, if one of us is attacked, everybody gotta fight back. We gotta fight against that opposition. So that's how Denmark is looking at it. That's how France is looking at it, and other nations. All right? And that's leading to hatred for the whore. Now what is the whore also doing? The whore is limiting their military support for these other nations. I posted an article up on about this. They're limiting their support for these other nations where, you know, mostly they'll send support, they'll send planes, food, resources, all this type of stuff. But now they saying, hey, we really ain't gonna help you like that. So that tension has to rise for this Revelation 17 to really fulfill. This is why I'm going through it, because it has to rise. So as they see what's going on in America, they see how America is becoming 1930s Germany, right? Let's be honest, okay? Secret police, ICE, refugee camps, you know, FEMA camps, that's what that is. That's concentration camps, waiting to be used. So you got all this stuff sitting there, waiting to be used in place. It's not in a alligator Alcatraz. You know, this stuff is in place for a certain reason, right? Keeping it going. Okay. Now let's go back to 7. Did I read 7? Yeah, I did, but we're gonna read it again. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. And we read what those are about. The beast that thou sawest was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. All right, Rome being America, was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. And go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. You wondering who is the elect? Who is the 1/3? Who is the 2/3? Okay? That's what's going on. Everybody calling themselves chosen. Well, you don't know. It says you wonder. It does not say you know for a fact. It says you wonder. And I wonder. You got to wonder. All right? This is why you get out and make your calling to the election sure. All right? You work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You do your best. You put your best foot forward. Verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, 7 governments, 7 nations, on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And I was talking about the British Empire. All right? The British Empire continued for a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. Right? So the beast that was and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. Right? That being the Roman Empire, being also America. Okay? And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdoms as yet. Y'all some clowns, man. Y'all gotta cut that shit out. America about to be destroyed, bro. You gonna be destroyed with it. You and your kids. Bitch-ass motherfuckers, man. Scoffing and mocking from a car talking about, I am the beast. Yeah, you gonna be destroyed in this beast system, man. You got kids in the background watching your dumb ass. Your wife sitting up in there laughing. And I fucking hate Jake, bro. You know? You see I'm out here, that Bible is fake. Okay, nigga? Go set up on the corner and teach the truth. If you have the truth, go teach it. If you don't, then shut the fuck up. Damn. Scoffing. But hey, 2 Peter 3:3, in these last days, it shall come scoffers and mockers, seeking after their own lusts. So that's what it's supposed to be. All right? And it's beautiful to see that. It's beautiful to see everything pass. ICE, DHS, all that. Scoffers, mockers, all of that. Okay? So, hey, for if you don't understand what I'm about to say, you got to understand. The worse it get, the worse it get, the better it is for us. All right? The worse it gets, the better it is for us. You know what I'm saying? Because we bout up out of here. The water Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Okay? Keeping it going. Matter of fact, let me go back to that because I couldn't really focus. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. Now let's break that down better without the interruption. All right? So that America is that 8th beast, but is of the 7th. All right? And Salaki, I said wrong, but that 7 is what? Is Britain. Okay? Now America comes out of Great Britain. That's the understanding. That's the proper understanding. America comes out of Great Britain. Now let's prove that. Let's go to Jeremiah. Now we can prove that with regular history because you got the Revolutionary War. You know, you got us, you know, you got individuals selling from Britain to America. You got all of that. But let's go to the scriptures. Let's go to Jeremiah, 50 and 12. This is Jeremiah 50 and 12. And let's start at, I'll start at 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. That's talking about silos, nukes, being launched with precise precision, okay? Every arrow is gonna hit its mark. Alright? Alright, damn, I ain't mean to close it. It's locking. Get back. But the countries from the north, they're gonna come down. They're gonna rain on Babylon. Okay? For I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array. That's BRICS nations. That's all these other nations that are rising and go be against America. Now, paralleling that with Revelation 17, as we're seeing, the title of the lesson is, they shall hate the whore. The whore being America. You're having the EU, the NATO, also aligning and hating America as well because of everything that America is doing. So every nation on this planet will eventually hate America, and they will destroy her. This is how it's going to take place. All right? Keeping it going. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. We no longer fight with arrows, bow and arrows, but now it's missiles, it's nukes, it's hypersonic missiles. It's these type of things, you know? So that's what's taking place. The sword, the modern day sword, you know, is a gun. You know, now, I like sword. I like a sword. I always love that shit. That shit is fire. Let's see these movies where they fight with the sword. That's why I love Star Wars. You know, so it's just that skill. But that skill is not required today. That's why I'm bringing out that fact. It's because you can have a simple YN, fucking 14, 15-year-old that listen to the young boy NBA, and he can pick up a sword and take you out, and you'll be a hardened warrior for 30 plus years. Look at Omar on The Wire, the little kid. You Omar, and he popped Omar, man. Omar done did, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't take no skill no more, right? It's no honor. It's none of that. It's not an honor. You can't say it's an honorable death. You know, honor is gone from this world, man. You know, that's why we can't wait for Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi to get back and to set up a righteous rulership where your deeds and things that you do is honored. The stuff that you like, you honorable. We see scumbags and assholes rule. Like, what did Kanye say? Let's have a toast for the scumbags, have a toast for the ass. That's what's going on. Everybody's toasting for these scumbags and these assholes that's ruling. these elites that love to eat babies and drink blood. These are your leaders. Y'all all looking at Bill Gates and George Soros and Elon Musk, looking at these clowns. What the fuck they? Yourself, Harari, whatever. Klaus Schwab, who got caught on some SA. These dudes is cornballs, man. All right. So Jeremiah 50:10, and Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahawah. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoice, O ye destroyers of mine heritage. Because ye are grown fat as the heifer, as grass, and bellows as bulls. America, and as it said, they should get the fat of the earth, the dew of the earth, right? They come and they get all the resources. They go to Venezuela, they take the oil. They go to Chile, they take the resources. You know, they going over the earth, taking the resources, running in. That's what these Edomite nations do in general. They take all the resources, right? Man, come on, man. Oh, right here. Verse 12. Your mother, that mother being that seventh, all right, being Great Britain. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nation shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert, because the wrath of Yahawah, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at her plagues. So for you individuals talking about the whole earth is going to be destroyed, Death Star, Star Wars, Death Star, you're stupid. You're dumb. That's not it. They're gonna see Babylon burning. As Revelations the 18th chapter will tell you, Revelations 18:9. They will see Babylon burning from afar. That's how you know that's gonna be a mighty smoke, boy. You're gonna see individuals in Africa, it's gonna see the smoke coming from Babylon the Great. Individuals in Asia is gonna see the smoke coming from Babylon the Great. You know, and that's possible. Because I know, hey, it was burning. It was a smoke. It was a fire burning last year. It was burning maybe 3 hours up north in California. You know, California, right? And it was burning, forest fire. And we was feeling the effects. The sky was orange and all that smoke. So, and that's just a regular forest fire. You talking about 200 million missiles hitting this place. America is massive. She's pretty big. You know, she's a big country. Alright? It's gonna be that level of, what's the word? Catastrophe. That level of desolation. That's gonna happen in this place, man. And that smoke is gonna burn up. That lake of fire is gonna burn up. You know? Keeping it going. Verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahawah. Shout against her round about, she hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of Yahawah. Take vengeance upon her, as she have done, do unto her. She dropped missiles on places constantly, over and over. Right? You lead her into captivity, you go into captivity. You kill her by the sword, you get killed with the sword. Everything that she did is getting done to her. It's getting brought back to her. Alright? Includes slavery. Includes them being servants. All you Edomites. All you nations, actually. Don't get that twisted. Okay? So you nations are going to be set up in servitude as servants, as bondmen, as maids, bondmen, bondwomen. Right? That's something that comes with our salvation. Our, meaning the Israelites. With our salvation comes your captivity. Because in our captivity, you was ruling over us. So 360 means everything 360. And all the wickedness that you gave, we're going to give righteousness. So when it comes to a Christian's mindset, but slavery is wicked. How? Slavery ain't wickedness. It's in the Bible. All right, what we reading from? It's a lawful action. Okay? Stop looking at it with a Western mindset. Just because somebody's a slave, no. Keeping it going. Verse 16, to finish this up. Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. The fear of the oppressing sword. They shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. Right? My rib got some co-workers at work, and they've been discussing, you know, they're gonna retire and all of that soon. Teachers and all of that, and from different lands. And it's come to my realization, a lot of teachers are from different lands, like Philippines, you know, just other lands. They come here and they teach. They get jobs and all of that. But they've been talking about they not going to settle in America. They going to leave and go back to their homeland. Right? And that's even before the nukes. People are deciding to leave America because of the ways that it is. They're trying to get up out of here because you don't see no future in this place. So that goes back also to Isaiah 47, 1 through 3 that we read. Or Jeremiah 49 and 10, she's being made bare. Everybody is seeing her for what she is, the whore that she is. You know? Let me check the comment board. Hey, Shalawam. Karata Zabad, Abad, Salaki, if I said your name wrong. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Barak. Alright? And let's finish this up in Revelation, the 17th chapter. Alright, let's keep it going. And where was we at? Oh, right here. Verse 11. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth, and is of the seventh, and goeth into perdition. Right? So America is the eighth, and it is of the seventh. It comes from Great Britain. All right? So that's why we was reading Jeremiah 50 to break that down. Now, verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Okay? And that 1 hour is talking about a specific time period where NATO was created, or the EU in that sense. And once again, I gotta fact check it when I get off, but I believe it's 1949 or in the 1950s. You know, but I have to fact check it. Most likely, hey, do a lesson brushing up on it. Okay? On the creation of NATO and the creation of EU. So it's a time frame where NATO was given a time frame to rule these 10 nations, these 10 kings. All right? Verse 13. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Right? One mind, meaning a new world order. One body, one ruling class, one government. What happens in NATO transpires around the world. They come together, they make a decision, and then they act that out. You know? That's common. That's common practice. Okay? Verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and kings of kings. And they are with him, are called and chosen and faithful. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. America sits all over this place, all over this planet. Right? Going back to 14. These shall make war with the Lamb being Yahawashi, and the Lamb shall overcome them. This is talking about the conclusion of WW3, where all these nations are going to eventually, as we're going to read in 16, they're going to destroy America, and then they're going to continue to fight one another, and they're going to have to fight Yahawashi, right? That's what's understood. And Yahawashi is going to overcome them simple, easy. For he is the overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. The Adawanyam and the Malakyam. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So that will be known as the elect, the remnant. All right, Yahawah, you want to be of that number. To be of that number, to be chosen, to be called, to be faithful. Right? You don't want to be up to 2/3, where you'll be in that lake of fire burning when all this is taking place. Okay? And you have to come back via reincarnation, regeneration. Verse 16, going back. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. So NATO, the EU, they're eventually going to hate the whore being America, Mystery Babylon. They're going to hate her, and they're going to what? They shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So eating her flesh, making her naked and desolate, that's first coming by means of, and this is all for all wars. You have an economic war first and foremost. Okay? That's what we're seeing now. Stocks, oil, gold, silver, all of that is being fought over. You know, in a way where you're passing laws, decrees, tariffs, prices, this and that, coalitions, all of this type of stuff. So you're having this economic battle before things get physical, right? So they're making her naked first and foremost. They shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Then that physical ICBM missile comes and they destroy America with the nukes, right? So that's what's going to take place. For power hath put in their hearts, their minds, to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of power shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Right? That woman, once again, being America, that whore, that reign over the kings of the earth. America is at the top at this point in time. As they said at Davos, America's power seat is being challenged by China. You know, that's just something to say. Hey, Shalawam. It's being challenged by China. Hey, that brother, that's a young brother with his mom. His mom had a hair wrap and all that on. And he was, you know, hey, Jake, no, man. You know, and you got women out here, right, with kids, and they do what they do. They probably listening, you know what I'm saying? And hey, it's a beautiful time to be alive. You know, it is. It definitely is. Man. To get up out of here and all of that. You know? And that's the conclusion, pretty much. All those articles and things, right? Europe breaking a trade deal with America. All right, the Davos heavy. Watch that. You can see Trump being stout, one of his fellows. Okay, the German president really kind of went in, talking his shit. You know, other people talking their shit, right? You know what I'm saying? Elon Musk made a little joke. He said, it's a peace deal, or is that peace P-I-E-C-E? So he goofy, but that shit was kind of funny though. Because it's like America does want a piece of everything, you know? So it's all taking place. We in those times, you know? Prepare yourself, stay focused, stay built up, keep the faith, fast, pray, constantly read the Bible, constantly watch videos. All right, make sure you're in the right spirit, okay? You know, and that's with the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone, man. That's what his truth is, all right? Not with these wacky-tacky Christians that can't even tell you what the beast is. Can't even break down to you what the whore is. They think the beast is a man. They think the anti-Hamashiach is a man, all right? So, they ain't got it. Ultimately, they don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, all right, yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here. Facing the east. All praise to and his son, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elders and bishops of the great millstone, as always. Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children. From Yasharahla and abide the ball, all right, to this wicked kingdom. May Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi destroy this bitch yesterday. Let's get up out of here, brothers and sisters. Keep the faith. Shalawam.